everybody. Today we're going to talk about storing extra kefir grains. So on my table today I've got some kefir in a jar. I've got Ziploc bags. I've got a marker pen, a few jars with lids, elastic band, chopstick, a little bowl and a sieve. So first of all I need to separate the kefir from the grains, so I'll do that first. This has been in the fridge. I'm just going to pour it through my sieve. I mean, ideally it's better to have a bowl, but I'm a bit lazy and I like to put it straight into my bottle that I'll be using to drink my kefir. But right now I'm going to show you how I use the excess kefir grains by storing them to use for later. So what I'm doing is I'm just literally sieving out my kefir, which has fermented for a day, out on the counter and then left in the fridge. And I'm just separating the kefir out and I'll be left with my grains. So I've been doing kefir now for about 6 months now, and my grains are healthy and now have grown and doing very well, and they make great creamy kefir. So I've got excess grains that I need to store, and today we're talking about how to store excess grains without wasting them. Obviously you can always give to friends and family, you can post them as well. Today we're talking about how to store excess grains. So here I've got some of my grains. What I'm going to do is I'll start by showing you how to freeze excess grains. So I'll pop out one Ziploc bag, and what I'm going to do is we usually start making kefir with 2 teaspoons of grains. So I'm going to measure out 2 teaspoons of grains into my bowl. Here it is, looking happy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Ziploc bag and empty out the grains into the Ziploc bag carefully. And once I've done that, the idea is we've got to try and take out the excess air. So I'm just going to tighten the bag and press down to just squeeze out the excess air. And then I'm going to lock the bag by sealing it, and then just slowly roll it out like this, roll it up. And then when I've done that, so there's a little bit of extra air there, so I'm just going to open up the zip again. Let's just push out that excess air. There we go. And once I've done that, I'm going to get an elastic band and I'm going to just tie it up like this. And then just to remind me, I can write the date on here, which is the 27th of October 2022 on here, just to remind me of when I put it in the freezer. And this will go in the freezer. It can last up to a year, and then when it's ready to start making kefir again, you have to put it into fresh milk and wait and try a few times just to get them back alive and kicking again. But that'll be ready to freeze. Another way to freeze is to get a jar, place your kefir grains. Let's just measure out 2. The reason I measure out 2 teaspoons is just so that it's easier for me to restart my grains again. That's about 2. Okay, I've got 2 teaspoons of grains here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it into a clean jar. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny bit of milk, fresh semi-skim milk, into the jar, just to cover it, about 3/4. Lid on, and that can just be put carefully into the freezer, and that will freeze well for a few months. And then when you're ready, you just defrost it, put it in some fresh milk and start the process again. And then finally, if you've still got excess grains, what you can do is, just take the rest of this out, just put it into the, if you've still got excess grains, what you can do, is place the grains into a clean jar, and this time we're not going to freeze it, we're going to put it in the fridge. And what you can do is place the grains in some milk. You don't need to fill up the whole jar, it's just to keep them happy in the fridge. Place the lid on, and this can go into the fridge and be kept for a few months if you have excess. And what I tend to do is I have 2 jars going at the same time, where I'll use a jar to make my kefir for a few weeks, and then I might swap over and use another jar with my grains in to make another set, and I just keep repeating it, rotating every few weeks. That just makes me ensure that my grains are happy and they've got fresh milk and they're making great kefir. I hope that helps. Thank you. Bye.